Good evening, everybody. JP Martin the Melod here. Hope you're going well. Last night was Dream Theater history for me, as it was the first time I'd seen Portnoy on stage since Sydney in 2009. It was my 8th Dream Theater concert in total, in 5 different countries in 6 different cities. So, 8 Dream Theater gigs in 16 years. So it's mind-blowing. Now, I played a bit of a bingo about what songs I would hope to hear, and according to my statistician, I can't really say properly, I only picked 5 songs on my set list that were played, and they were Night Terror, as I did get guessed I had to play a new song, The Spirit Carries On, Octavarium, Constant Motion, and Bastard Warrior. Now, a lot of people would be like, oh, why didn't I play this, or why didn't I play that? That's the 40th anniversary, okay? But others would be like, just stop whining because you're there to see the band, okay? I kind of think it was a bit iffy that they paid no tribute to Charlie Dominici, because it was their first concert since the passing of the singer from that first Dream Theater album. And, I mean, they could have played, something off that album, because after 8 Dream Theater gigs, I have never ever heard any songs off that album live. Sadly, I missed out on seeing Dream Theater in 2015 when I was over here in the UK, because that was their 30th anniversary, and that was the last time they ever played something off that album. They have played It's Only a Matter of Time on the Budokan, that was 20 years prior. But now that Portnoy is back in the band, you will tend to have a different set list every night for people who travel around to see Dream Theater. Unlike the last few tours with Mike Mangini, it's always been the same set lists over and over. So, yeah, I didn't really go too well with my bingo. I'm only getting 5 for my picks. And to refresh your memory, they played nothing from the first album, When Dreams Day Unite. They didn't do anything of 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. They did not do anything of that awful 2016 album that I never ever touched. And they also didn't do anything off of View from Top of the World. So, this concert started off with Metropolis Part 1, Miracle on the Sleeper, which is quite an iconic song to open a concert, as it's off the second album, the groundbreaking Dream Theater album that went gold and had a top 10 hit with Pulling Under. So this was the 3rd time I had heard Dream Theater play that song live. I heard that song in Sydney, Birmingham, and now London. Act 1, Scene 2, over to 1928. I've heard that in Sydney, as well as in Norway, when they played the Metropolis Part 2, Scene from Memory in full album, in its entirety, and also played it in London. Act 1, Scene 2, Strange Deja Vu. I heard that in Sydney and Trondheim, so that was the 3rd time I heard this live. The Mirror. The Mirror had not been played in over 10 years, because 10 years ago they celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Awake album. So, they had to play something off Awake, because it was the 30th anniversary this year. This was the 2nd time I'd heard The Mirror, first time being in Sydney in 2014. And then, of course, song 5 was Panic Attack. I had not heard that song live since I saw Dream Theater for the first time in Sydney, Australia in 2008. Then Bastard Warrior, which totally blew my mind because this is a Mangini era song. And nobody really expected this. So that was the 3rd time I'd heard Bastard Warrior after Bratislava and Trondheim. Now, they did Hollow Years, which was a demo version where it's once the stone you're turning under lifted up your shoulders, once the cloud that's raining over your head disappears, and then it extends the pre-chorus. It's the demo version. I last heard that song in 2009, and I remember when I heard that song in 2009, I actually cried when I saw Dream Theater for the 2nd time. and I was a bit stoked that James had said that he was a bit emotional singing that song, because they had not performed it live since 2010, and I was like, as a matter of fact, this was last played maybe on Mike Portnoy's last Dream Theater gig before I left the band. So, that's quite a thing. Constant Motion, first time it had been played since 2015. For me, this was the second time I'd heard Constant Motion, as I first heard it at the first Dream Theater gig I went to in 2008. And then to finish off, the first part of Act 1 was As I Am. This was the fourth time I had heard this song live. I've heard it in Sydney, 2008, Birmingham, 2017, Bratislava in 2019, and now London, 2024. I would have preferred to have heard On I by Father, because it hasn't been played in 20 years. It's my favourite track off Train of Thought. Now, Act 2 began with Night Terror. This was the first time Dream Theater had ever played Night Terror live. So it was quite historic for me to be at that concert, because it was the first gig off the 40th anniversary show, and the first gig with Mike Portnoy back in 14 years. So it was the debut performance of Night Terror. This is the Life. This was off a dramatic turn of events that came out in 2011. But to be honest with you, I did not buy that album when it came out. I was a bit iffy. I didn't really know if I'd really accept Mike Mangini, but I'd seen Mike Mangini more times than Mike Portnoy. Under a Glass Moon. The last time I had heard that song was in 2017 on Images and Words' 25th anniversary tour. To refresh your memory, 20 years ago on the 20th anniversary tour, Under the Glass Moon was performed as a piece of Images and Words. So I kind of knew that we were going to play Under the Glass Moon, but I had predicted like Wait for Sleep or... Let me check my stats. I had predicted Wait for Sleep Another Day, rather than Metropolis and Pull Me Under and Under Glass Moon. Vacant. I had never ever heard this song performed live. The last time Dream Theater performed that song live was at the 20th anniversary concert in New York City in 2006, which is on the DVD. Then, Vacant's a short song that was written by James the Brave at the time. His daughter had some sort of seizure, so I was quite stoked to hear that song live. Stream of Consciousness had not been played in over 20 years, since 2004. Now, I had only seen Portnoy live twice prior to that, so yeah, that's off another song of Train of Thought. That's an instrumental piece. I was quite pleased they were to do an instrumental piece, but there's other instrumental pieces they could have done, like Yitzy Jam off the first album. Now, the mind-blowing track to the end, Act 2, was Octavarium. Like, I remember when normally Jordan uses a steel lap guitar in the studios, but he uses technology to mimic a steel lap guitar. So when I saw him play the notes, I remember just elbowing the guy next to him, like, they're going to do Octavarium, because I thought in my mind, they have to do Octavarium. It's been next year's the 20th anniversary of Octavarium. It's been a long time since they've done Octavarium in full. As a matter of fact, when my brother saw Dream Theater in Brisbane in 2008, they played a snippet of Octavarium, but this is Octavarium in full. I remember just yelling my head off at the very end of the song, like, trapped inside that Octavarium. I was trying to, like, outdo James Bray's vocals, because a lot of people complain that his vocals aren't up to notch than what they are in the last 10 or 20 years, but let's remember what happened 30 years ago in Cuba when James Bray ruptured his vocal cords, and then weeks later he stupidly went on tour. And as a matter of fact, supposedly, my friend Arthur reminded me that Dream Theater did a gig full of covers in London in 1995, so that would have been weeks after James Bray had that injury, and then that was only a few months after Awake was released. Okay, then the encore, scene 6, Home, from Scenes from a Memory. That was the second time I heard that song live. I last heard it in Trondheim 4 years ago when the full album was performed. I was kind of, when the encore, I thought, oh, maybe they could do something from back, or maybe they could do a tribute to Charlie, but nope, didn't happen. Then Act 2, Scene 8, The Spirit Carries On. That was the third time I had heard that song live. I heard it in Sydney, at my first Dream Theater concert, in Trondheim, and in London. But I felt like it had to be part of the set list because it's been played a lot recently. It was played on the recent tour with Michael Mangini, and it's now going to be part of the 40th anniversary tour. And then to finish it off, Pull Me Under. This is the fourth time I had heard Pull Me Under live. I knew they had to do something off Images and Words, but I didn't really expect to hear Pull Me Under because they played Pull Me Under when I saw them in Poland, and then they played Pull Me Under at the end of the concert in Sydney, and then they played Pull Me Under on the Images and Words anniversary. So I would have preferred Wait for Sleep because it's a shorter song, or I would have preferred Another Day because pre-Portnoy leaving the band's, I think Another Day was not played since 2000 and what was it? Yeah, since like 2000, but they did play Another Day all throughout 2017 for Images and Words' 25th anniversary. So that's the first gig of Dream Theater's 40th anniversary tour. For anybody who's awaiting to see Dream Theater in Europe, North America, and Brazil in the next couple months, this isn't really a spoiler because now that Portnoy is back in the band, they will have to change the set list from gig to gig. So let's just say if I took a flight to Germany tomorrow and I saw Dream Theater in Germany, I'm pretty sure the set list would be different than what it is. But I will check back in a few days' time to see what the set list was and how it was. So anyway, I'm really proud of seeing Dream Theater for the 8th time. And as us Jews say in a Passover and Yom Kippur, next year in Jerusalem, let's hope that I can see Dream Theater in Tel Aviv. So next year in Tel Aviv. This is Martin the Millerhead, over and out.